I hope we.
Commissioner Cousineau is not on here, right?
Yes, he is. He's in the conference room with Bill and Jennifer.
Who's asking?
Live in person.
I
Who's asking?
Okay, Jennifer, try sharing your desktop now, please.
Okay.
Whoever was asking, they don't want to admit it.
Hi, Marty.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm glad you
Hi,
could
it's
zoom
Rashida.
in.
Well, I'm here.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Deanna, are you on the line?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, Jennifer, we are live on YouTube and everything is good.
Okay. We are ready to call the meeting to order if you would like. It's 3 o'clock, 3:01. Mr. Cousineau?
What?
We are ready to call the meeting to order. If you-
Okay, I call the meeting to order at 3 p.m. Roll call, please.
Alguire,
Present.
Brandon,
Here.
Quartz. Here. Cousineau,
Here.
Galida,
Here.
Gorman,
Here.
Hotberry,
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Okay, so we have a quorum. We now take this time for any public address to the committee. There isn't anybody in this room. Have we received any requests, or is there anybody out there that wants to do a public request?
We have not had any requests via email.
Okay, so moving on, communication items, updated board member list for 2020. I don't have that. What is it?
Is there any
It's
changes?
just the updated list.
Okay.
It just added Crystal Simpson.
I have it here.
Yeah, he has a copy.
Okay, do you need me to read it off, or does everybody know? Martin Kuzma, Kim Quartz, John Potberry, Crystal Simpson, Anita, whatever. Robert Gorman, William Brandon, Alan Agoyer, and there's one vacant, but from Ask Me apparently, Gallarda. How's that? Was that
Gallarda.
close, Anita?
Galida. It's Galida.
My version for the record. Approval of the minutes on May 11th, 2020.
Move to approve.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. Or are we still
Alguire,
doing it just voice? call?
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Quartz. Yes. Cousineau,
Yes.
Galida,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Hotberry,
Abstain.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
There are no items under old business, under new business. Investment updates presented by A and Company Consulting. I assume they're online?
Yes, this is Chris.
Go ahead, you got it.
All right. If we could start on page 11 or slide 11. Perfect. This is a snapshot of the capital markets during the second quarter. And just to unfortunately refresh everyone's memory, the first quarter, you may recall, was horrible. You know, we were off to like a decent start through February, and about towards the end of the month, the market started to price in COVID-19, and you know, it was basically in a free fall for about 4 weeks and declined, you know, roughly 30 to 40%. And then towards the end of the first quarter, that last week, we started to see a little bit of a rebound in the markets as we started seeing Washington step in. So we had the Federal Reserve stepping in, and then we had Congress kind of stepping in after the Federal Reserve, helped stabilize the markets, and put in a number of programs to kind of stabilize the economy. That was kind of where we started the quarter, was towards the very end there, where we started seeing the rally, and then it continued on through all of the second quarter. So as you're looking at those numbers, the S&P was up about 20%, and you look at the small and mid cap stocks, that's the Russell mid cap and Russell 2000, up a little bit more, up in the mid 20s basically. The international markets, which are the red bars in the graph, not quite as strong, but still, in the teens on the positive side. So, all equity markets really had a nice quarter coming off of that dreadful first quarter. And even in fixed income, fixed income did okay in the first quarter as, interest rates declined and treasuries did exceedingly well, but really corporate bonds struggled in that first quarter. Well, this quarter was kind of a reversal. Treasuries really didn't do much, but the corporate bond market came roaring back and drove performance into that 2% range for the quarter. So all in all, all the markets really worked in our favor, and that was a pretty good quarter from a performance standpoint. I will point out, if you go down to the 1-year numbers in the bottom half of this chart, you'll notice that that S&P 500 actually is positive, up about 7.5%. But when we start looking at mid cap and small cap, you're going to notice we're still in negative territory. And we've seen this a number of times, I would say, over the last couple of years, when the market takes that step backwards, and it took a very large step back, in the first quarter. Those riskier areas, small cap, international, they take 1.5 steps back, and then when they get the rally afterwards, they just never quite get back to where they started, and so that's why we see kind of down single digits there for the past 12 months on small cap and international. So really, the safest place, kind of large cap growth, really has been the place to be over the last 12 months here in the U.S., and really everything else is kind of in negative territory. The big surprise is, once again, in fixed income, where you can see, I think, like an 8% type return just from core fixed income. No one really had that on the radar as of 12 months ago. So all in all, as I said, pretty favorable markets for the quarter, a little bit more challenging when we look at the 1-year numbers. Any questions there? Can you flip ahead one slide? So this is a quick snapshot of the asset allocation. Generally, if you kind of recall, this fund has been kind of in a transition mode for a number of years as we've slowly but surely been declining in asset values. And so at this point, you're going to notice that we have a red triangle, which is generally a bad thing. Actually, we have a couple of them. Real estate, you can see we're a little bit over, and then the other one that we're quite a bit over is in cash. And that's going to be kind of an ongoing issue. As the assets decline and we need to maintain cash, we're going to have, be a little bit outside of that range that we have. The real estate, we've actually put in our request over a year ago, and we just have never received those assets. We get little pieces of them each quarter, but we're still kind of in a waiting line to get our full redemption at this point. Any questions there? If not, jump to slide 16, please. This is a quick financial reconciliation for the quarter. The numbers are pretty small on that screen, so I'm going to pull it up on my screen here. We started the quarter with just about $9.5 million, received contributions of just under $2 million, and had distributions of about $3.5 million. And so at the end of the quarter, we were just over $8 million. And really the bulk of the change there is based on cash flows. The actual return on investment you can see was about $200,000 to the positive. We'll take a look at that here in a minute where that came from. Skip ahead a couple to 18, please. So this is the performance into positive territory. You can see the fund was up about 2%. I will point out that's well below what I would say kind of most funds did. Now, I mentioned earlier, we've been kind of in this transition mode. We had, a significant allocation to cash, which, did not help us very much. And then we're going to take a quick look there and see that low vol strategy that we've been using here for a couple of years also did not perform quite as well as kind of traditional large cap equities. I will point out, if you go to the year to date number, you can see you're down about 2.5%. That actually puts you right in the middle of the public plan peer group. So despite having what was, I would say, a challenging quarter, we actually did exceedingly well in the first quarter when the market sold off. And so that put the two together, we actually looked pretty good. The 1 year number kind of falls back a little bit. And as I said, largely based on that low vol strategy. You can see that low vol strategy there right below. And the LSIA S&P 500 low volatility was up about 6.5%. Unfortunately, kind of the S&P, recall, was up about 20. And so we only got a portion of what the domestic equity market did. And it largely due to, an underweight in some of those more volatile high-tech names in some of those growth areas. And so, just based on the construction of the index, that's where we're seeing kind of that lag in performance. I will tell you, we've taken a really close look at the strategy to see if, there's something broken or anything like that with it. I would tell you, we think this is just a perfect, like the perfect storm for it, where you had an incredibly volatile first quarter and then an incredibly volatile second quarter. And, the strategy just kind of got whipsawed as it rebalanced in April. And I would tell you that was probably not a great time for the rebalancing to occur, but they do it every quarter in that first month of the quarter. So January, April, July, and then we'll see it again in October. So, on the fixed income side, you can see a nice rebound there from Telemus. So they were up about 3 and some change, a little bit ahead of their benchmark, which was 2.8. Over the past year, up about 5. I'll mention one of the challenges for them is just the size of the portfolio. As I said, as assets have declined at the total fund level, the portfolio continues to get a little bit smaller, and it gets a little bit harder to manage the positions there, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them here in the coming quarters. And then the last one we have is the real estate fund. I will note, it actually was flat for the quarter. That was actually really good. So real estate, unlike kind of the equity markets, real estate was, I would say, kind of flat in the first quarter. You can see that the benchmark for real estate actually was down about 1.5%. We're starting to see real estate kind of write down some of their assets as they kind of start factoring in what does the coronavirus mean for real estate values. The first ones where we saw kind of the biggest write downs were the malls. So, if you kind of think back, the malls basically were shut for a couple months. There's a lot of kind of negotiating going on right now. Do the tenants need to pay rent for those months when the mall was technically closed? And so there's a lot of people who are kind of asking for kind of forgiveness for their rent for those periods. Obviously, that's not good if you're the mall owner. And then there's kind of the secondary part of it. Now that the mall's kind of reopened, there's not nearly the foot traffic that we would expect to see at this time of year. And so sales are down. And once again, there's going to be more and more stores that are going to kind of close that or won't reopen. And so that's one area where we're seeing some of the biggest write-downs in retail. And then the second one is in office space, that we're starting to see some of that hit into the market as well. As more and more people are working from home, there's the question of how much office space do we really need? So there's also been kind of a slow, or at least the initial writing down of some office properties as people expect less and less demand for them in the coming months and quarters. So I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see some challenging results in real estate. As I mentioned earlier, though, we are in the queue to get out. Hopefully within a couple quarters, we'll have that full redemption completed. Any questions kind of on the performance report? Do have a quick update for you. If you could please go back to slide 7. And sorry about the jumping around. This is the July update. So July was actually another good month for us. You can see the S&P was up about 5.8%. You can see the small caps didn't do quite as well. They were only up about 2.8. International markets, the core ones were up about 2.5%, but the emerging markets actually were up about 8%. And as I said, we're off to a good start here in the third quarter. Still a ways to go. And I do want to kind of point your attention, if you're looking at those, the top group there with the equities, if you come across that Russell 1000 growth and Russell 1000 value rows and go out to like the year to date number, you can see that the Russell 1000 growth up over 18% and value down about 13%. I mentioned that low vol strategy kind of struggling because of a lack of kind of some of those growth names, and that's where you can really see it. So you put those two together, that's where you get like that 2.4% for the S&P. As I said, you can see though, some stocks have done exceedingly well and other stocks have really struggled. And so it hasn't been like all, the old saying in investments is like a high tide floats all boats. That really hasn't been the case. It's like the high tide has floated half the boats and sunk the other half. And so, as I said, that now you can see carries through out much longer. You look at those 5-year numbers for those growth and value indexes, up in mid-teens for growth, only up 5 for value. So a 10% difference that carries through over 5 years on an annualized basis. That's over 50% cumulative. So it's a huge difference. We would expect to see some reversal there at some point down the road. We also saw positive results in the fixed income. So you can see about a 1.5% return from fixed income, once again driven mainly by corporate bonds, which were up over 3% for the quarter. And then if we jump ahead to 34, I have the updated market values for you. The low vol strategy actually had a really good July. It was up over 7%, outperformed by almost 2% over the S&P 500. So as I said, we have seen a little bit of a rebound from it. And you can see the total value of the fund is now 8.9 million. So if you remember back when we were looking at that financial reconciliation, it ended the second quarter at about $8 million. We actually did receive an influx of cash from the county. And so where we see the biggest difference really is down there in that cash account where you can see it's about $4 million. So at this point, we're in the queue to get out of the real estate fund. That's the Barings Patriot Fund. And slowly but surely, we'll be redeeming from LS and Telemus as we need to raise cash down the road. And our current spend, I think, is just under $2 million a month. So we should be good for the next couple months. So at this point, there's no action recommended from ANCO. I'd be happy to answer any questions. All right. Well, that would conclude my report.
Thank you, Chris.
Move to accept the report.
I'll move.
Support Kim Courts.
Okay.
Did you get that? Hello?
I can hear you.
I can hear you,
okay.
Commissioner Courts. I was just waiting for Commissioner Kuzino.
Okay, all right. I just didn't know if we had sound issues because it was
Yeah.
quiet. Commissioner Kuzno, are you there? Okie dokie.
Uh-oh.
Is it with Jennifer?
Jennifer, can you hear us?
Jennifer, you're muted. You need to unmute.
You there with us?
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, is there any comments about the budget? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Brandon,
Yes.
Courts,
Yes.
Kuzino,
Yes,
Galida,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Hotberry,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Alguire.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
okay. C3, approval, Comerica Bank authorization signatures list.
Okay, on this one, there's a mistake. It said Controller's Office for Crystal. So I have changed that to Chief Financial Officer. That is up on the screen.
Sorry.
Jennifer, can I interrupt? It's Deanna.
Yeah, Deanna.
Sorry. I think we skipped past 2, approval of the budget.
Yeah, we did not vote on the motion of C1.
Yeah, we only voted on C2, we accepted C1.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're on C3. And Jennifer was correcting a error.
Yes, so it used to be the Controller's Office, now it's Chief Financial Officer, so I have changed that on the document that will be signed if approved.
Okay, so is there any other questions? Seeing none, do another roll call vote, please,
With the correction, yes.
with the correction.
Okay. I'm sorry, do we have a motion and a support on 3?
Yes.
No.
Brandon will make the motion.
Anita will
Court
support it.
Court supported.
Okay.
Okay. We're all set with the motion and support. Go ahead with the roll call, please.
Okay, Kuzino,
Yes.
Galida,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Hotberry,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Alguire,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Courts.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Okay, C4, adopt signatory resolution attached.
Again, that was also corrected from Controller to Chief Financial Officer, as it shows on the screen.
So I need a motion for the resolution with the correction included and a support.
Brandon will move.
Alguire support.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Galida,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Potberry,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Alguire,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Quartz,
Yes.
Kuzino.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Moving on to C5, summary of billing expenses through August the 1st, 2020, attachment included. Do I have a motion?
Take a motion to accept?
We have a motion, do we have
I'll
a second?
support. I'll second the motion. Potberry.
Okay, thanks, John. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gorman,
Yes.
Potberry,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Alguire,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Quartz,
Yes.
Kuzino,
Yes.
Galida.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Thank you. C6, do we have a legal report today?
Yes, thank you. I just have a brief comment to make about recent executive orders issued by our governor. She issued Executive Order 2020-154, which allows for public meetings like this one to be held electronically and remotely and virtually and so on. She's been extending that order sort of month by month. And one of the changes she made this time around was to state that the continuing aspect of this order is linked to the current state of emergency as she declares that. And it will extend 28 days past the end of the state of emergency. The state of emergency is currently scheduled to end the beginning of September. So 28 days past that would be the very beginning of October. I think October 2nd was what I calculated. So currently this board and your other boards are allowed to meet this way. I just wanted to assure everyone that you're in compliance with the Open Meetings Act and so on. And our office has been providing legislative updates on all those matters to your administrator and to the retirement system as well. They certainly have more to worry about than you guys do, but just wanted to bring that up. And I don't have any other formal items, but if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing no questions, I assume we just accept this and move on, correct?
Yes. Move to accept legal report. Courts.
Support. Now, is there any comments? Hearing none, roll call, please. Deanna, you with us?
Deanna?
I'm so sorry I was muted. No wonder why John Potbury didn't answer me. I'm so sorry. Okay, let me try that again. Potbury,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Alguire,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Quartz,
Yes.
Kuzino,
Yes.
Galida,
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, under D, we don't have anything under informational items. E, we don't have anything under other. Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Brandon.
Adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why is it that we just accept the investment